In the beginning, the sun and other forms of life were made by powerful beings called celestials. The world was moving along at a steady pace. Deviants come out of space and start destroying everything in their way. Olympia sends them to Earth on their ship, the Domo. In Mesopotamia in the year 5000 BC, a group of people are fishing when deviants come out of the water and attack them. At that time, the Eternals come to help. Ikaris uses his eye-beams and flies to fight the beasts, while Makkari uses her super speed to move the humans out of the way. Kingo attacks from a distance by shooting energy blasts, while Thena and Gilgamesh use energy weapons they call up to fight hand-to-hand. Sprite helps by making images, and Phastos helps by making clever inventions. There is a fierce fight, and the Eternals beat the deviants quickly because they work well together. Team leader Ajak heals any injuries they got in battle. The humans are afraid of them and try to attack, but Druig uses his power to control minds right away to stop them. Then Circe turns a crude knife into a nice piece of metal to show that they are here to help people. Years go by, and now the Eternals live among people and act like they are just like everyone else. Circe is meant to teach a class in London, but when she gets there, her boyfriend Dane is there instead. A big earthquake suddenly stops Circe's lesson, so she tells her students to hide under the tables and uses her power to stop some falling rocks from crushing one of them. A dog in the area sees a deviant come out of a nearby river. In the evening, Circe gets together with a few friends to celebrate Dane's birthday. Sprite uses an image to make herself look older and hide the fact that she only gets older in her mind and not in her body. However, if someone touches her, the illusion is broken and she quickly gives up. Sprite always says strange things. After the party, the three friends walk home, but suddenly a big deviant called Crow attacks them. Circe uses her skills to trap it in the ground, but Crow soon breaks free and runs into the streets. Sprite makes a trick that makes her and Circe look like they are everywhere to confuse the monster, but Crow surprises them by being able to tell who the real ones are, which is something deviants could never do. Crow is about to kill Sprite when Ikaris comes along and saves her. Ikaris then fights the deviant straight. When they fight, a bus flips over, and Circe quickly changes into rose petals to stop a crash. Crow surprises everyone again when it says it can fix its own wounds, but it's clear that Ikaris is still in the lead, so it runs away through the river. Dane asks Circe why they never helped during humanity's worst tragedies after she tells him the truth about who she is. Circe says that they were told not to mess with the way people do things so that they could keep growing as a society. After killing the deviants, they were told to wait on Earth until it was time to go home. She also tells Dane that she and Ikaris were together for hundreds of years, but it didn't work out. Later, she goes back to her apartment to talk about the problem with Sprite and Ikaris. They decide that Earthquake and the Deviant are linked, so they all agree that the team needs to get back together. This makes me think back to Babylon in the year 575 BC. The Eternals are helping humanity grow and change. When the Deviants try to attack, the Eternals fight them. When they show up, they are always violent and cruel, but the Eternals fight in perfect sync to kill them quickly and easily. After one especially hard fight, Ajak uses her special power stone to make a connection with Arishem so they can talk. She respects his big plan but doesn't like what it might mean for people. Arishem tells her not to care about them and to stick to the plan. After that, Ajak goes back to the Eternals' home, where they live in plain sight. Phastos is working on a steam engine to help people, and Sprite uses her magic to tell stories to children that come to life through her images. Druig likes to stop fights with his mind control, but Makkari scolds him because they aren't meant to get involved. Ikaris and Circe spend time together and fall in love. They tell each other that they love each other while the beauty of Earth looks on. After many years, they marry in the Gupta Empire. Back in the present, Circe, Sprite, and Ikaris go to Ajak's ranch in South Dakota, where they find her dead in front of her house. Sprite cries and makes an image to remember her fondly. She comes to the conclusion that Crow killed Ajak by taking her powers, which is why it could fix itself. When Circe goes to cry over Ajak's body, the stone that the Celestials gave her from Ajak's body comes out and sticks to Circe. This causes her to briefly see Arishem saying, "It's almost time," before she loses sight of him. Sprite says that Ajak has picked Circe to take over, but Ikaris is afraid that it could be Mard Wyry. This makes me think of something else. In the year 1521 AD, the group was in Tenochtitlan facing the last deviants left on Earth. The humans are at war at the same time, but a Jack won't let Druig stop them. Thena starts to feel sick and says it's too late because everyone will die soon. Her eyes change, and she starts fighting her friends. Some of them get hurt because they are surprised. A Jack lets her hurt her on purpose so she can get close to her and use her skills to clear her mind of this strange urge to hurt her. Thena still strikes her, so Gilgamesh steps in and fights with her until he knocks her out. Later, when Thena wakes up and can't remember what happened, it turns out that she has a condition called mrbear, which is caused by her old memories falling in on themselves and driving her crazy. There is no fix for it. The only way to make her better is to wipe her mind clean and let her start over, which a Jack thinks is the safest thing to do. The others love Thena and don't want to lose her. Druig yells at a Jack and questions her authority. He's sick of watching people kill each other without help, so he suddenly uses his skills to stop the war. He then goes off to work on his own, telling everyone that the only way to stop him is to kill him. Gilgamesh says he can take care of Thena, so she stays with him. A Jack lets everyone leave and live with people. The deviants are over, so they can find something else to do while they wait for a call from home. Back in the present, Circe, Sprite, and Ikaris go to Mumbai to find Kingo, who is now a famous Bollywood star. His servant Karen knows his secret because he has worked for him for many years. When the three tell Kingo what's going on, at first he says he doesn't want to go because he likes his life as it is. But Karen persuades Kingo to go and be the hero everyone looks up to, and Karen even agrees to go along and record the whole thing in a documentary way. They go to Australia on Kingo's private jet. When they get there, Sprite is upset that Kingo left her for fame, but Kingo says that it was Sprite's stories that made him want to be an actress. In Australia, the team tracks a path of dead deviants to Thena and Gilgamesh's private house in the middle of nowhere. Gilgamesh has learned how to cook and take care of the house, and Thena draws scary pictures to pass the time. When she sees them coming, she loses her mind again and tries to attack them, saying that everyone in the world will soon die. Gilgamesh stops her, and Sprite clears her mind with an illusion that tells her who she really is. Circe takes the time to look at Thena's pictures. She feels bad that she can't connect with Arishem, but Gilgamesh gives her a pep talk and tells her it's more important to listen. Circe sits down and takes a break, which finally makes the stonework and brings her in front of Arishem. He says to her that the emergence is happening, and he explains what the Eternals were really sent to do. They were sent to bring about the birth of the celestial Tiamat, since new celestials are born every few thousand years, and this process has happened on other worlds before Earth. They come from intelligent life, which was stopped when the deviants attacked. Now that the Eternals have gotten rid of the deviants, Arishem says it's time to kill all life on Earth to make room for Tiamat. Circe is shocked by what she learns, but Arishem explains that this is just how their life forms are made. Then he tells her that Olympia never lived and that she and the other Eternals are just fake beings made by the Celestials in the World Forge. Circe can't remember this because, after each emergence, the Eternals have to start over with their memories. Arishem made the deviants to keep the balance between hunters and prey so that intelligent life could thrive, but he lost control of them and they turned into predators. Because of this, he made it so Eternals couldn't change the way they do. When Circe tells the rest of the team what she found out, they understand that Thena's illness is actually their old memories coming back to life and telling them the truth. When they find out they are made in a lab, they are shocked and upset, but most of them are determined to find a way to save the people of Earth. They think they need to find Druig and find out if he can use his power to take over Tiamat's mind. Next, the Eternals go to the Amazon. Druig lives in a town where he is in charge of a group of people who live in peace. He doesn't want to help others with their goal because he feels like he's been lied to his whole life. In the evening, Kingo says that he feels sorry for Sprite because he knows she likes Ikaris but hasn't done anything about it because she looks like a kid. Sprite likes how kind it is, but when she sees that Karen is recording, she breaks the camera. Circe calls Dane to see how he's doing, and Ikaris looks on with envy. This makes Circe ask Dane why he left her. Just as Ikaris is about to say something, Crow shows up out of nowhere and takes him away. The deviants keep attacking the town, so the Eternals move quickly to help. Cersei fortifies a building so that the humans can hide inside, and then he throws a bunch of trees on top of the deviants. Druig is in charge of the humans as a single army, but Cersei stops him right away and sends the humans away to safety. Kingo lets his beam charge for a moment, then blows up the head of a deviant to kill it. Ikaris fights Crow, and Crow pushes him down to take his powers. Gilgamesh comes to fight him next, but Thena goes crazy again and strikes Ikaris while they are fighting. Gilgamesh sees and pushes away to go to Thena and comfort her, which calms her down. Then Ikaris goes after a flying deviant and makes it land in the town, where he kills a lot of them with his eye beams. One of them sneaks up on him from behind, and Cersei saves him by turning the deviant into a tree, which is something she has never been able to do before. Gilgamesh keeps fighting Crow, but he's so busy watching Thena that Crow kills him and takes his powers. Then Crow turns into a more human-like version of himself and learns English. Crow says that the Eternals kill people, but when Ikaris comes to fight it, Crow runs away. Then, Thena runs to Gilgamesh's side. He tells her to always remember and dies in her arms. Gilgamesh's body is then burned. Thena puts the man's ashes in the river. Druig agrees to join the task when he realizes that controlling everyone would make him no better than a deviant. However, his power isn't strong enough to control a celestial, so they'll need to find Phastos. Another memory is from 1945 when the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. Phastos stands there crying after the bombing. Jack is sorry that he helped humans create and improve their technology, only for them to keep killing each other. Here is where he gives up on people and chooses to leave them behind. Back in the present, when the team gets to Chicago, they are shocked to learn that Phastos lives in the suburbs with a husband and a son. Phastos says that after hearing the story, his husband got his faith back in people, but he's not willing to leave his family for a dangerous task. But his husband tells him to keep going if it means that they and their son will have a future. The Eternals then go to Iraq, where they use their skills to get the Domo out of its secret hideout. Makkari has been living there for a long time, using her speed to get out when she needs to get food or water. Phastos comes up with the idea of linking everyone's powers together through the Unithoughts. This will let them share their powers so that Druig can control Tiamat's thoughts. Kingo isn't sure about this whole deal, so he and Sprite say they'd rather follow Ikaris, who also seems to have doubts. However, Ikaris tells his friend Kingo that he is not who Kingo thinks he is. Then Ikaris thinks back to another time. 6 days earlier, Jack went to see Ikaris to tell him that it was finally time for the emergence. He also told Ikaris that he had always known the truth. Jack doesn't think they should go through with the plan because people on Earth are beautiful and they deserve better. Ikaris tells Jack that he needs to show her something first, so he takes her to Alaska. A group of deviants has resurfaced at a frozen lake, and Ikaris says they were frozen for hundreds of years before the ice started to melt because the incoming emergence made the Earth's core hotter. Then Ikaris says he still loves Arishem and pushes Jack into the lake, where Crow quickly catches her and takes her powers. After that, Ikaris takes Jack to the farm, where he leaves the body for Cersei to find later. He can't help but shoot beams that start fires when he's sad. Ikaris tells Cersei that he still loves her in the present, and Cersei takes his hand, but she doesn't say anything back. After a few moments, she feels the stone start to work inside her, which means the emerging is about to begin. Phastos sends Makkari to find the cause of the emergence. With her super speed, she goes all over Earth to find the right spot, which turns out to be an active volcano in the Indian Ocean. Jack didn't choose Cersei. He charges to the main room and says he knows everything that has happened since they left Babylon. This lets the team know that Ikaris was the one who killed Jack. Ikaris tries to attack Makkari when she comes back with the information, but Kingo takes the hit for her. Kingo wants to fight Ikaris because he no longer sees him as his boss, but Sprite says she's on his side and makes an illusion that lets them get away. After that, Kingo says that he and Karen are going because he doesn't think it's a good idea to save Earth, since new worlds are made when Celestials are born. To make up for the lost people, the team needs a new plan. Druig points out that Cersei was able to turn a deviant into a tree. Cersei still has questions, though, because she doesn't know why Jack picked her. Thena tells Cersei that a leader's job is to protect their loved ones, and Jack knew Cersei loved humanity from the start. Cersei lets Phastos take the special stone from her body and use it to power the Unimind because she is ready to fight. The Eternals go to the volcano, and Ikaris tells Sprite to protect the emergence while he breaks into the ship. Thena starts fighting him to keep him busy and give the others time to turn on the Unimind, which stops the volcano from erupting. Ikaris tries to stop them by grabbing Druig and killing him with his eye beams. He then attacks the ship to make it crash. Mikari, who is angry, starts fighting Ikaris furiously as the volcano behind them starts to explode. Cersei goes to the top of the hill to see what she can do while Thena and Gilgamesh and Mikari team up to fight Ikaris, but he is too strong, and even if they work together, they can't stop him. Right then, Crow shows up and joins the fight. He focuses on Ikaris. The others, however, don't want it to get stronger, so they fight it first. Mikari puts it in a dirt tornado, and Thena kicks it, sending it into a cave. Ikaris uses the confusion to try to go after Cersei, but Phastos uses a special trap he made to catch him and keep him on the ground. Crow uses Gilgamesh's voice to mess with Thena's mind inside the cave and get her to let down her guard. But just as it's about to take over her powers, it quotes Gilgamesh's "Remember," which wakes Thena up and makes her kill it right away. Cersei is surprised to find a jack at the top of the hill, and then she is suddenly stabbed. A jack had been a trick put on by Sprite has always been jealous of Cersei because she gets to grow up. She gets ready to use her skills to speed up the emergence, but Druig shows up at that moment and knocks her out. As Tiamat comes out of the volcano, the ground starts to shake and the sea starts to act crazy. Cersei stands on top of him and tries to stop him with her skills, but Ikaris breaks free at that moment. Phastos has set for her and goes after her. But when he sees the woman, he is overwhelmed by memories, and he can't kill her. Cersei takes the chance to turn on the Unimind, which boosts her powers and lets her turn Tiamat into a huge rock figure. When Ikaris realizes he made a mistake, he cries and says he's sorry. He then goes into space, where the sun burns him to death, just like the story about his name. Cersei still has some power from the Uniminute, so she uses it to take Sprite's eternity away so she can live a normal human life. When their job is done, the Eternals went their separate ways again. Makari and Druig take Thena with them on the Domo as they look for more Eternals. Phastos goes back to his family, Sprite starts a boarding school, and Kingo goes back to making movies. Cersei goes back to Dane, and he accepts her as she is. Arishem suddenly shows up in the sky and calls Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos. He tells them that he knows they cheated them, so he will take them away to be judged. Share your thoughts in the comments, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.